And there we are. Susan Michelle, this mic is all yours.
Hi, this is Susan Michel. I am here in Western Massachusetts. It is so great to be here as always. I am the author of Surrender to Joy from Suicide to Serenity, which is based on the principles of A Course in Miracles, which we are all here to study, to learn, to embody the truth of. And I will start with the introduction of my book, as I usually do. My introduction states, "My passion is God. God is love and joy and beauty. He is all that is good in the world. Everything else is our own miscreation. When we are filled with joy, we are connected to God. When we are not joyful, we have lost our connection to all that is real." This is my message. It can be clarified with three simple words: surrender to joy. There is nothing to find. All we need to do is surrender. And that's really a very clear, poignant paragraph for me. And it makes so much sense because God's will for me is perfect happiness. And when I am connected to the peace, love, joy, and happiness that resides within me, I know that I'm connected to my true nature. Um, However, sometimes I miscreate. Sometimes blocks come to the surface. And when they do, I need to be able to identify them so I can release them. So I can give them to the Holy Spirit so my higher self can help me to release them. But when I am connected to my joy, I'm living the truth of who I am. God's will for me is perfect happiness. A Course in Miracles teaches us that love is our true nature. Love is who we are. We were born to awaken, to remember the truth of who we are. You know, sometimes in this earthly classroom, um, the blocks to love come up. And when they do come up, it's important to be aware of that and release them to the Holy Spirit so He can help us clear our channel. I mean, life is a classroom. You know, we were born to shine. You know, we were born innocent. I mean, children are so amazingly innocent and amazingly beautiful and so open to just enjoy whatever they are experiencing. And then as we grow, we learn to be more cautious. But then as we take the spiritual path, we learn to release our blocks and reconnect to the truth of who and what we are. Today's lesson is lesson 309. Um, it is the 309th day of 2024. We're getting close to the end of the workbook, and I continue to do the daily lessons, which I love, love, love. And the subject of today's lesson is I will not fear to look within today. Um, I mean, the ego is telling us not to look within. Our ego is telling us that there's something inside of us to be afraid of, you know, but when we truly look within, what we'll see is the truth of who we are as an innocent, beautiful child of God. I embody the essence of innocence. That's an affirmation that I continue to say daily. I continue to say it first thing in the morning. I embody the essence of innocence, because sometimes, I can feel the ego kind of kick into my mind, and I can feel myself feeling guilty for certain things. And then when that happens, I just kind of do my best to release that egoic thought system by focusing on my innocence and focusing on the fact that I embody the essence of innocence. And when I can really just forgive myself totally and completely, and I can forgive my brothers totally and completely, I can truly connect to the truth of who I am. And when I can embody my own innocence, that's when I can hear God's voice. That's when I can remember the truth about me. So today's lesson states exactly that. I will not fear to look within today. There is no guilt inside of me. It says here, within me is eternal innocence, because it is God's will that it be there forever and forever. When we can really embrace our own innocence, then we can really hear God's voice. We can really hear God's voice, because God is always talking to us. But when we start to feel guilty in any way, we can't hear what he's saying to him. But when we can embrace our own innocence, we can hear his loving guidance throughout the day. We can align our mind with the thoughts of God, and we can be the miracle worker that we were born to be. We can be the miracle worker that the Course in Miracles is teaching us to be. Because what a miracle worker is a miracle worker is extending God's love to uh, his brothers throughout the day. And in order to be an effective conduit for God's love, we have to embrace our innocence and release the guilt. His son, whose will is limitless, as is his own, can will no change in this. For to deny my Father's will is to deny my own. To look within is but to find my will as God created it and as it is. I fear to look within because I think I made another will that is not true and made it real, yet it has no effects. Within me is the holiness of God. Within me is the memory of him. The step I take today, my Father, is my sure release from idle dreams of sin. Your altar stands serene and undefiled. It is the holy altar to myself, and there I find my true identity. So when we really have the courage to look within, we will see that there is nothing to be afraid of. There is no guilt that resides inside of us. We will see that within we have God's divine love, and we are truly innocent. We are beautiful, innocent children of God. And God's will for me is perfect happiness. So when I can tap into the truth of who I am, I will feel at peace. Be still and know that I am God. I think that is Course in Miracles, and it's also biblical. Because what we need to do in order to feel the truth of who we are is we need to slow down. We need to still our minds. I can give you a great example of this. I had a good morning. I had a good meditation. I did my Course in Miracles lesson. I had a nice run. So I was feeling plugged into my God socket, as I would phrase it. And then I made my lunch, and we are now one day away from the election. It is November 4th, and the election is November 5th. So I turn on the news, and all of a sudden, a lot of stress and anxiety starts to come into my heart. It's just very stressful watching the news right now. So I decided that this was not of God. Not that I'm against watching the news, but for lunch, I decided to turn off the news, and I did something that I haven't done in a while that I think I'm going to start doing daily now because it's such a beautiful experience. What I did is I asked Alexa, we have one of those Alexa music. Um, One of those the device that you ask Alexa to turn on a certain song and she listens to you. So I asked Alexa to put on meditation music. I lit a candle. I prayed, and I ate my lunch, really focusing on love and being fully present in the moment. And it was a very beautiful experience. I know how to tap into that higher consciousness. It's just a lot of the time I don't do it. But today I did. I had the house to myself. My husband went into the office, so he wasn't here working out of the home office. So I had the house to myself, and I decided to listen to meditation music. I lit a candle, and I prayed, and I was fully present with my food, and it was fabulous. Just being fully present in the moment. It was fabulous. And I remembered how to tap into that higher consciousness. You see, God is always with us, but so much of the time we keep ourselves so busy and distracted by the world that we don't embody his presence. But when we choose to be still and know that we are God, when we choose to be fully present with whatever we are doing, that is the state of mind that brings us the greatest amount of joy. And that is the state of mind that sets the stage for miracles. And that is the state of mind that A Course in Miracles is teaching us to access more and more often. So I had a really nice lunch, and I just enjoyed my food. I enjoyed the music. I got up to wash the dishes, and I was listening to a little enigma music after my meditation music. And enigma music, it's very soothing, but it has a little bit of a beat to it. And then I felt myself kind of moving to the music, and I saw Jesus dancing with me. Whenever I'm the happiest, whenever I'm the most connected to source energy, I kind of see the face of Christ. And that's a really beautiful place to reside in, when we can see the face of Christ in our surroundings, when we can see the face of Christ in our brothers. That's a very beautiful state of mind to reside in. And it's important to remember that that state of mind is available to us at each and every moment whenever we choose to tap into it. And really all we need to do is slow down and focus on the love. Focus on the love, focus on the peace. I have to remind myself that there is nothing in the external world that can ever satisfy me. The joy that I'm searching for cannot be found in the world. Why? Because there is no world. Why? Because what I am truly searching for is connecting to God within me. I was, well, my birthday was on Saturday, and November 2nd is my birthday. And my husband and I drove to Concord, Massachusetts, and we got together with Lisa Natoli and Bill Free, which I kind of planned a month ago. I asked her if she was available to get together. I thought that would be a really beautiful way to celebrate my birthday. And it was. It was just so fabulous. I originally met Lisa um, about 30 years ago at my first Course in Miracles group in the Upper West Side in Manhattan. That was when I was a brand new Course in Miracles student. Um, and it was very nice seeing her. I don't see her very often, but it was very nice seeing her because she's so clear and she's so wise, and her husband Bill Free, he's like so amazing. So it really helped me plug more deeply into my God socket. And Bill was the executive producer, he was telling us about, of The Awakening Mind. So, and you can watch it on YouTube. It's The Awakening Mind Part 1 and The Awakening Mind Part 2. So I've been listening to that all morning, and it's just so amazing what it teaches. It's so amazing. It talks about how we live in this world, which is one of duality. And part of the reason that we're here is because, and this is so interesting because I have always had a hard time understanding this. I mean, I know Course in Miracles is a non-dualistic thought system, teaching only the love is real. However, if you're in a place that is complete light and you're shining your light, you can't really know who you are because there's no contrast, there's no darkness. But when you come into this earthly classroom or this earthly plane, that is um, a dualistic world. There's a duality down here. There's contrast down here. So because the world is based on the egoic realm, the egoic thought system, and when we align, when we connect to the egoic thought system, we feel so rotten, we feel so bad. Then all of a sudden, by comparison, when we release that thought system and we connect to the truth of who we are, and we make the choice to extend God's love, we feel so great. So if you go into, I guess, a place where darkness is where darkness is possible and you shine your light, you can understand what love is because you know how terrible it feels to be consumed by the darkness. So we're here in this earthly dualistic world to learn the difference between um, God and fear, to learn the difference between love and fear, to learn the difference between our higher self and our egoic self. So, extending God's love brings joy to our heart. Projecting the ego's fear brings pain to our heart. And we are here to learn how to extend God's love more and more often. I think that's very interesting. It's just so interesting because I always knew that A Course in Miracles was teaching me non-duality, but the truth is we're learning through contrast. We're learning through I guess at times making mistakes. At times we choose to project our fear. At times we choose to allow ourselves to feel guilty, and we don't feel good when we do that. Um, and then what we can do is we can release that thought system, reconnect to the truth of who we are, and we can realign with joy. I have my little bookmark here, A Course in Miracles, workbook lesson 188. The peace of God is shining in me now. Let all things shine upon me in that peace, and let me bless them with the light in me. I mean, A Course in Miracles says the truth over and over in so many different ways, but the commonality is our truth is one of love. The truth is very simple. The answer for every single problem is love. The truth is very, very simple. It's just not easy because it's not what the world teaches. The A Course in Miracles teaches that our way out of hell, as it is now manifest on this earthly plane, is forgiveness. Forgiveness is not necessary in heaven because no one holds grievances in heaven. Love is all there is. That's why God doesn't have to forgive us, because God doesn't hold grievances. God has never condemned us. We need to forgive our brother, and that is our way out of hell. That is our way to reconnect to the truth of who and what we are. So, I have been doing my best to forgive everyone and anyone who has brought guilt up in me. I am really understanding that principle in A Course in Miracles, that forgiveness is our way out of hell. Forgiveness is our way out of guilt. I mean, we're never even really forgiving the other person. We're forgiving whatever they triggered within us. Eleanor Roosevelt once said, no one can make you feel any way at all without your consent. No one can make you feel guilty without your consent. People can bring up wounds that have not been healed. But once those wounds heal themselves, we will no longer be triggered by life. So when we get triggered, when we become fearful, It's because there is something in our unconscious mind that has not been healed. And when we can forgive the person who triggered us in the first place, we are getting closer to God and to the truth of who we are. In Awakening Mind Part 2, they started talking about, I think they called it samskaras. And what this was events that happened in our life that were painful. And because we resisted the pain instead of accepting it, it got stuck in our unconscious mind and it turned itself into a wound. So we're born innocent. That's why children are so joyful, because they're innocent. And then what happens is events in life hurt us at times. Now, if we were hurt by something that happened in life and we allowed ourselves to feel the pain, it would pass right through us and it would not affect us. If we allowed ourselves to feel the pain, we would be able to release it instantaneously and we wouldn't carry it around in our unconscious mind. But most of us, myself included, did not have the necessary tools or did not have the courage to fully process the pain when it occurs. And when we resist something, I mean, that's what we resist persists. I think that's from Carl Jung. What we resist persists. So when we resist a pain point and we don't process the pain point, what it does is it stays in our unconscious mind and we carry this pain point with us. And because we have this pain point stored in our unconscious mind that has not been healed, we will actually attract similar events to us, not because God wants to hurt us, not because the universe wants to hurt us, but because the universe wants to heal us, because now we're presented with another opportunity to heal this old samskara, to heal this old pain point that's stored in our unconscious mind. So I can use an example from my own life to exemplify this point I'm attempting to make. One of the pain points that I have stored in my unconscious mind is abandonment. When I did not do exactly what my father wanted me to do, he would abandon me emotionally. And he did this throughout my childhood. So I grew up with a fear of abandonment. And I didn't want to do or say anything to friends or boyfriends that would push them away and cause them to abandon me, because I was so afraid of being abandoned. And what ended up happening is because this pain point had never healed itself, I would continuously draw people to me that did abandon me. And it did hurt, time and time again. but it's very challenging, and it takes courage to allow yourself to sit with that pain. And I think one of my biggest pain points that's still in the process of healing itself is abandonment. And that is a recent trigger that I am in the process of healing right now, with my sister. She has abandoned our relationship. So, what I am, for the time being, so what I am doing is I'm doing my best to allow myself to feel that pain of abandonment. I'm also doing my best to send her love and forgive her. I'm also doing my best not to abandon myself, because I think that's what it boils down to. Whenever we look outside of ourselves and we see someone doing something in the world to us, it's just a reflection of something on the inside that has not yet been healed. So if I'm seeing my sister abandon me, on some level, I'm abandoning myself. And what I really need to do is just to see that that pain is not real, see that abandonment has no power over me, and just do my best to stay with myself. And I that is can lead to a lot of healing. This trigger that is coming up in my life right now can lead to a lot of healing. And I am that's why Dove always says, be grateful for your triggers. Because when challenging events, emotionally challenging events happen in our life, they're teaching us something about ourselves that we really need to see, because we are always seeing in our external world what is going on within, because there is no world. The external world is nothing more than a reflection of an internal condition, right? So that's why we are always experiencing joy, or we are learning something that our soul is really needing to learn. I love Michael Singer's book, The Untethered Soul. I quoted his book in my book, Surrender to Joy, because I think he is so articulate and eloquent about how he describes this process. I mean, so we have these wounds that are stored in our unconscious mind. And when something is not healed, we are given the opportunity to heal old pain points all the time. This is we don't have to go out there and search for healing. The universe is always giving us different opportunities to heal. So the emotionally challenging events that happen to us are basically opportunities to heal what is still repressed within our unconscious mind. And how Michael Singer writes it here, he has a couple of pages in his book. I have his book. It's called The Untethered Soul. I know he's written a few books. This is my favorite book. And this is on page 106. I think the name of this chapter it's chapter 11, Pain, the Price of Freedom. So it's like when we stop resisting the pain, when we just allow ourselves to own the pain, to embrace the pain, that's what allows it to release itself from our unconscious mind. So, oh, let's see here. He says, remember, If you close around something, you will be psychologically sensitive about that subject for the rest of your life. Because you stored it inside of you, you will be afraid that it will happen again. But if you relax instead of closing, it will work its way through you. If you stay open, the blocked energy inside of you will release naturally, and you will not take on any more. So when something is triggered, what we need to do is instead of being afraid of it, instead of pushing it away, instead of running from it, we just need to relax and accept what is, accept the present moment. I mean, what you resist persists. So instead of resisting the pain, we just need to accept the pain. And when we can truly accept the pain, what happens is it dissipates and we realize there's nothing to be scared of. And then Michael Singer goes on to write, this is the core of spiritual work. When you are comfortable with pain passing through you, you will be free. This world will never be able to bother you again, because the worst the world can do is to hit the pain stored within you. If you do not care, if you are no longer afraid of yourself, you are free. I mean, you can bring that into any example. So I'm afraid of abandonment. So right now, seemingly, my sister has abandoned me, but has she really abandoned me? No, not really. And when I'm truly connected with God, when I'm truly connected with love, when I'm connected with the truth of who I am, I'm going to realize that I cannot be abandoned. I cannot be abandoned. God would never abandon me. So if something appears hurtful in my world, what I need to do is just, I guess, own whatever pain is being triggered and realize that it has no power over me. And that's how I will reconnect to the truth of who I am. That's how I will reconnect to my joy. So if you do not care, Michael Singer writes, if you are no longer afraid of yourself, you are free. You will then be able to walk through this world more vibrant and alive than ever before. That's why I say that the times that I experience the greatest amount of joy in my life are times after I've experienced the greatest amount of pain. Because when I can own the pain, what happens is the pain dissipates and I reconnect to the love within. Because we all have so much love within. We were all born in the image of God, and our soul's deepest yearning is just to express the truth of who we are. Our soul's deepest yearning is just to love our brothers and to love ourselves. And once we can allow those pain points that are hidden in our unconscious mind to surface, we can clear our channel and we can reconnect with the truth of who we are. So then he writes, I think I'm going to reread the last sentence. If you do not care, if you are no longer afraid of yourself, you are free. You will then be able to walk through this world more vibrant and alive than ever before. And I've had times of walking through this world feeling more vibrant and more alive than ever before. And I remember those times. And that's the truth of who I am, those times where I just see beauty everywhere. I just see beauty everywhere. And the reason I'm seeing beauty everywhere in the world is because I'm connecting to that beauty within myself. I'm seeing the world through the eyes of Christ. I'm seeing the world through the lens of love. I like that expression, through the lens of love. It sounds so beautiful, doesn't it? And that's how we're supposed to live our life. We're supposed to live our life just being in love all the time. But that state of in love, it doesn't come from a romantic partner. That state of being in love comes from our connecting to divine energy, from being in love with God. And when we're in love with God, we're in love with ourself. But then remember, God has but one son, and we are all part of that sonship. So we are in love with everyone we meet. And it has nothing to do with romance. It has nothing to do with special relationships. It has to do with remembering the truth of who we are. It's just being in love with life and knowing that we are always safe, knowing that we are always protected. That's how we were born to live. Um, so if you do not care, if you are no longer afraid of yourself, you are free. You will then be able to walk through this world more vibrant and alive than ever before. You will feel everything at a deeper level. You will begin to have truly beautiful experiences rise up within you. Eventually, you will understand that there is an ocean of love behind all of the fear and pain. That force will sustain you by feeding your heart from deep within. Over time, you will form an intensely personal relationship with this beautiful inner force. It will replace the relationship you currently have with inner pain and disturbance. Now, peace and love will run your life. When you pass through the layer of pain, you will finally be free from the binds of the psyche. So what Michael Singer is doing here is he's writing about accepting. I think it's important that we accept whatever circumstances we are being presented with, because once we can accept our circumstances, we can release the pain and get to the love on the other side of it. I mean, I also wrote down this quote from The Awakening Mind Part 2. One of the speakers said that sometimes, suffering can be a very important, it can help us, it can support us on our spiritual journey. He said, we don't ask the deep questions unless we suffer. Suffering is a tremendous tool. We don't want to exacerbate it by waging war against it. We want to accept the pain. I mean, nobody, even though Course in Miracles teaches us that only the love is real, nobody makes it out of this world without suffering. So it's just when challenging events come into our life instead of resisting them, we just have to learn to accept what's happening and to give it to God, ask God to help us to heal, and then that's how we will reconnect with the truth of who we are. I mean, another idea that I have been learning, and I think this is from Lisa Natoli, because she teaches how to awaken, how to transform. And I think she's such a beautiful, clear, wise teacher. And I love her so much, and I learn so much from her. And what she talks about is awakening is not like, we don't like, what is enlightenment? Like, we don't need to find enlightenment through the world or through even the daily disciplines that we do. Like, even meditation can't get us to a state of enlightenment. I mean, we don't have to change ourselves. I mean, I guess that's what I'm looking for. We don't have to change ourselves in any way. We don't have to do anything. What enlightenment is, or what it means to awaken, is it means to awaken to the truth of who we are. It means to remember how much love is available to us at each and every moment. So we don't have to do anything. We don't have to change anything. We have nothing to prove. We don't have to, I say this frequently, we don't have to earn God's love. God loves us right here, right now, and he is never going to love us anymore. Even if we meditate 24/7 for a week straight, he's never going to love us anymore. He loves us so much right here, right now. And what awakening is just kind of remembering that. It's just knowing that. It's just opening our heart to receive his love, and remembering how much love is available to us at each and every moment. So enlightenment is not really about getting anything that we don't yet have. It's awakening is just remembering how much love is available to us at each and every moment. It's remembering the truth of who we are. I heard this example this week about, the sun. The sun doesn't have to shine any brighter. The sun is just as bright as it ever was and ever will be. And it doesn't need to shine any brighter. The only thing that we need to do in order to feel the beauty and the warmth of the sun is just get through the clouds. So in order to awaken, we don't need to do anything. We don't have to earn anything. We don't have to get anything from the world in terms of, the tangible things or the material things. We don't even need to do any spiritual practices, really. We just have to, I mean, although they can be helpful, I think prayer is very helpful. I think meditation is very helpful. I mean, mental discipline is very helpful, to focus on the Course in Miracles lessons of the days, to focus on loving affirmations. I think this is all very helpful. But to awaken, we don't have to do anything. We don't have to get anything. All we need to really do is well, all we need to do is be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God's divine child who he loves so very much. We need to be still and remember who we truly are. I mean, if God is the ocean and we are all waves, his strength is available to us at each and every moment, but we don't have to get it. We don't have to find it. We just need to open our hearts to accept that he's with us always, but it's more than that. It's like we're a part of him. We're a part of him. So we don't have to do anything at all. We just have to remember, or we need to choose to remember how much love is available to us at each and every moment. We have to choose to remember the truth about who we really are. And it's about slowing down. It's about it's about being still and knowing that we are our God. It's about being still and breathing in the truth of who we are. It's about focusing on the love whenever possible, whenever, because it's always there. It's just always there. And I think especially in these documentaries that I was looking at, this today is really when I was listening to them. I'm going to listen to them again, The Awakening Mind. Um, it's just about um, yeah, remembering the truth of who we are, and realizing there's nowhere to go, there's nothing to do. It's the truth is so simple. The truth is so simple. All we need to do is love. All we need to do is love. Um, so it is now 3:55, and I have 5 more minutes. Maybe I'll talk a little more until 4, because I know there's another seminar coming up at 4. Another, I guess, podcast that I listened to this week that I thought was really interesting. I've been listening to a lot of different podcasts and YouTube videos. I was listening to a video by the Circle of Atonement. And this was a video about the US election through the lens of ACIM. And I thought that was very interesting because I try not to talk to anyone about politics unless I know that they agree with me, because I think there's a lot of divisiveness in the air right now that is healing. I think it's in the process of healing itself, which is why it's coming up. And I really liked what Emily Bennington Perry and Robert Perry shared about the election. I saw most of it, not all of it. I don't know who their choice is for president, which is kind of good about the video that they were doing. But basically, what they spoke about is the need to love. the need to love anyone that has a different opinion. I guess it's easy enough for us to love the people that take our side in the election tomorrow. You know, it's easy enough to find commonality, common ground with the people that are voting for the same person that we are. But the challenging thing right now is to show love and compassion for the people that don't agree with our political viewpoint. So that's what I think spiritually a big lesson is in this election, that coming from any kind of spiritual background, it's just really important to love the people that disagree with us. And when we can do that, then we can connect to God. Because if our minds hold only what we think with God, how does God feel about Donald Trump? God loves Donald Trump. How does God feel about Kamala Harris? God loves Kamala Harris. And no matter who we are voting for in the election tomorrow, I mean, I think to make a choice is not only fine, but it's good. It's healthy. I mean, we want to be a part of what's happening in the world. I think it's all good. But to love and accept the outcome of the election is so important. I mean, it's just so important. And I really need to remember that for myself. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I mean, I told this story about my lunch. I turned on the news and I started getting anxious. So I turned off the news and I turned on my spiritual meditation music and I lit a candle and I prayed and I had a very relaxing, beautiful lunch. So that's all well and good. But I think with the election tomorrow, I don't know who's going to win. I really don't. But I think that no matter who wins, I think it's all, as my friend Sherry says, it's all coming together. It's all good. And I think a lot of this darkness and this divisiveness and this fear is probably coming to the surface now for healing purposes. Darkness needs to come to the light for healing purposes, right? And it's all good. So on that note, I spoke for an hour, and now we have another speaker coming in who's so amazing. And I will end with the introduction of A Course in Miracles. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. And what that means is the only thing that's real is the love. And thank you, thank you. And I look forward to hearing Reverend Wayne. And I will